Welcome. You found the Bible in a Year live Tanakh podcast. This is day 3 of week 3, and we'll continue to read from the complete Jewish Bible. Today we'll be reading Genesis 48 to 50. Genesis 48. A while later, someone told Yosef that his father was ill. He took with him his 2 sons, Manasseh and Ephraim. Yaakov was told, "Here comes your son Yosef." Israel gathered his strength and sat up in bed. Yaakov said to Yosef, "El Shaddai appeared to me at Luz in the land of Canaan and blessed me, saying to me, I will make you fruitful and numerous. I will make you a group of peoples, and I will give this land to your descendants to possess forever. Now your 2 sons who were born to you in the land of Egypt before I came to you in Egypt are mine. Ephraim and Manasseh will be as much mine as Reuben and Shimon are. The children born to you after them will be yours, but for purposes of inheritance, they are not to be counted with their older brothers. Now, as for me, when I came from Padan, Rachel died suddenly as we were traveling through the land of Canaan, while we were still some distance from Euphrates. So I buried her there on the way to Euphrates, also known as Biayl. Then Israel noticed Joseph's sons and asked, "Who are these?" Joseph answered his father, "They are my sons, whom God has given me here." Yaakov replied, "I want you to bring them here to me so I can bless them." Now Israel's eyes were dim with age, so that he could not see. Joseph brought his sons near to him, and he kissed them and embraced them. Israel said to Joseph, "I never expected to see you again, but God has allowed me to see your children too." Joseph brought them out from between his legs and prostrated himself on the ground. Then Joseph took them both, Ephraim in his right hand toward Israel's left hand, and Manasseh in his left hand towards Israel's right hand, and brought them near to him. But Israel put out his right hand and laid it on the head of the younger one, Ephraim, and put his left hand on the head of Manasseh. He intentionally crossed his hands, even though Manasseh was the firstborn. Then he blessed Joseph. "Then God, in whose presence my fathers Abraham and Yitzchak lived, the God of whom has been my own shepherd all my life long to this day, the angel who has rescued me from all harm, bless these boys. May they remember who I am and who I stand for, and likewise my fathers Abraham and Yitzchak, who they were and what they stood for, and may they grow into teeming multitudes on earth." When Joseph saw that his father was laying his right hand on Ephraim's head, it displeased him. He lifted up his father's hands to remove it from Ephraim's head and place it instead on Manasseh's head. Joseph said to his father, "Don't do it that way, my father, for this one is the firstborn. Put your right hand on his head." But his father refused and said, "I know that, my son, I know it. He too will become a people, and he too will be great. Nevertheless, his younger brother will be greater than he, and his descendants will grow into many nations." Then he added his blessing to them that day. "Israel will speak of you in their own blessing by saying, 'May God make you like Ephraim and Manasseh.'" Thus he put Ephraim ahead of Manasseh. Israel then said to Joseph, "You see that I am dying, but God will be with you and will bring you back to the land of your ancestors. Moreover, I am giving to you a Shechem, shoulder ridge, sheer city of Shechem, more than to your brothers. I captured it from Emorai with my sword and bow." Genesis 49. Then Yaakov called for his sons and said, Gather yourselves together, and I will tell you what will happen to you in Archerit Hayamin. Assemble yourselves and listen, sons of Yaakov. Pay attention to Israel, your father. Reuben, you are my firstborn, my strength, the first fruits of my manhood. Though superior in vigor and power, you are unstable as water, as your superiority will end, because you climbed into your father's bed and defiled it. He climbed onto my concubine's couch. Shimon and Levi are brothers, related by weapons of violence. Let me not enter their council. Let my honor not be connected with their people, for in their anger they killed men, and at their whim they maimed cattle. Cursed be their anger, for it has been fierce, their fury, for it has been cruel. I will divide them in Yaakov and scatter them in Israel. Yehuda, your brothers will acknowledge you. Your hand will be on the neck of your enemies. Your father's sons will bow down before you. Yehuda is a lion's cub. My son, you stand over the prey. He crouches down and stretches like a lion, like a lioness. Who dares to provoke him? The scepter will not pass from Yehuda, nor the ruler's staff from between his legs, until he comes to whom obedience belongs, and it is he whom the peoples will obey. Tying his donkey to the vine, his donkey's colt to the choice grapevine, he washes his clothes in wine, his robes in the blood of grapes. His eyes will be darker than wine, his teeth whiter than milk. Zebulun will live at the seashore, with ships anchoring along his coast, and his border at Tizon. Issachar is a strong donkey lying down in the sheep sheds. On seeing how good is settled life and how pleasant the country, he will bend his back to the burden and submit to forced labor. Dan will judge his people as one of the tribes of Israel. Dan will be a viper on the road, a horned snake in the path that bites the horse's heels so its rider falls off backward. I wait for your deliverance, Adonai. God, a troop will troop on him, but he will troop on their heel. Asher's food is rich. He will provide food fit for a king. Naphtali is a doe set free that bears beautiful fawns. Yosef is a fruitful plant by a spring, with branches climbing over the wall. The archers attacked him fiercely, shooting at him and pressing him hard. But his bow remained taut, and his arms were made nimble by the hands of the mighty one, Yaakov. From the shepherd, the stone of Israel, by the God of your father who will help you, by El Shaddai who will bless you, with blessings from heaven above, blessings from the deep lying below, blessings from the breasts and the womb. The blessings of your father are more powerful than the blessings of my parents. Extending to the farthest of the everlasting hills, they will be on the head of Yosef, on the brow of the prince among his brothers. Benjamin is a ravenous wolf. In the morning devouring the prey, in the evening still dividing the spoil. All these are the 12 tribes of Israel, and this is how their father spoke to them and blessed them, giving each his individual blessing. Then he charged them as follows: I am to be gathered to my people. Bury me with my ancestors in the cave that is in the field of Ephron Hittite, the cave in the field of Machpelah by Mamre, in the land of Canaan, which Abraham brought together with the field from Ephron the Hittite as a burying place belonging to him. There they buried Abraham and his wife Sarah. There they buried Yitzchak and his wife Rivkah. And there I buried Leah, the field and the cave in it, which was purchased from the sons of Het. When Yaakov had finished charging his sons, he drew his legs up into the bed, breathed his last, and was gathered to his people. Genesis 50. Joseph fell on his father's face, wept over him, and kissed him. Then Joseph ordered the physicians in his service to embalm his father. So the physicians embalmed Israel. 40 days were spent at this, the normal amount of time for embalming. Then the Egyptians mourned for him 70 days. When the period of mourning was over, Joseph addressed to the household of Pharaoh, I would like to ask a favor. Tell Pharaoh, my father had me swear an oath. He said I am going to die. You are to bury me in my grave, which I dug for myself in the land of Canaan. Therefore, I beg you, let me go up and bury my father. I will return. Pharaoh responded, Go up and bury your father as he made you swear. So Joseph went up to bury his father. With him went all Pharaoh's servants, the leaders of his household, and the leaders of the land of Egypt, along with the entire household of Joseph, his brothers, and his father's household. Only their little ones, their flocks, and their cattle did they leave in the land of Goshen. Moreover, they went up with him, both chariots and horsemen. It was a very large caravan. When they arrived at the threshing floor in Atad, beyond the Jordan, they raised a loud and bitter lamentation, mourning for his father 7 days. When the local inhabitants, the Canaanites, saw the mourning on the floor of Atad, they said, How bitterly the Egyptians are mourning. This is why the place was given the name Avel Mitzrayim, mourning of Egypt, there beyond the Jordan. His sons did to him as he had ordered them to do. They carried him into the land of Canaan and buried him in the cave in the field of Machpelah, which Abraham had bought, along with the field, as a burial place belonging to him, from Ephron the Hittite by Mamre. Then, after burying his father, Joseph returned to Egypt, he, his brothers, and all who had gone up with him to bury his father. Realizing that their father was dead, Joseph's brothers said, Joseph may hate us now and pay us back in full for the suffering we caused him. So they sent a message to Joseph which said, Your father gave this order before he died. Say to Joseph, I beg you now, please forgive your brother's crime and wickedness in doing you harm. So now we beg of you, forgive the crime of the servants of the God of your father. Joseph wept when they spoke to him, and his brothers too came, prostrated themselves before him, and said, Here, we are your slaves. But Joseph said to them, Don't be afraid. Am I in the place of God? You meant to do me harm, but God meant it for good, so that it would come about as it is today, with many people's lives being saved. So don't be afraid. I will provide for you and your little ones. In this way he comforted them, speaking kindly to them. Joseph continued living in Egypt, and he and his father's household. Joseph lived 110 years. Joseph lived to see Ephraim's great-grandchildren, and the children of Manasseh's son Machir were born on Joseph's knees. Joseph said to his brothers, I am dying, but God will surely remember you and bring you up out of this land to the land which he swore Abraham, Yitzchak, and Jacob. Then Joseph took an oath from the sons of Israel. God will surely remember you, and you are to carry my bones up from here. So Joseph died at the age of 110, and they embalmed him and put him in a coffin in Egypt. Amen.